Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast, infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
This is the very first time. This is the very first time, Suave, I had to start the show off after the intro with boos followed by cheers.
What are you booing for?
Oh, it's cool. It's cool to boo what's booable. It has nothing to do with you. You my man. You my side hop. I appreciate you.
I'm trying to figure out what's booable so I can boo too.
Oh, we'll talk about it in this episode, bruh. Tings a guan, boy. Tings a guan.
Whoa.
Episode 245. What up, man? It goes with the title, heel season. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't have a show called heel season and not get the appropriate reaction.
So now that makes total sense. Start the show with boos because it's heel season. That's HEEL, not HEAL, even though some of you do need to heal.
It could be both. It very well could be both.
Killer!
Simultaneously and at the same time. Today's date, Monday, January the 13th. Yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
I said, yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
20 and 20. Filth.
You have the right to remain silent.
Oh, no. Anything you say can be used against you on the BPBC Pro Wrestling Podcast, infused with hip hop. Let the church say.
Hey, man.
Did we just figure out the whole intro for 2025 with that?
Look, that was my first try. I didn't even rehearse that. That was literally like just an instant reaction. So we're going to try a couple of these, and whichever one we and the pencil pushers like most, that's what we're going to keep.
Find time for us to go ahead and plug it. Pause. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc at gmail.com. Just at brokenpencilbc on all things social. At brokenpencilbc on what?
Everything. And everything. I don't know where to start. I'm going to start with the money because money.
Yeah. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Oh my. First off, a casual conversation. Shouts out to the Petty Messiah, BPBC gang member.
Pet.
Bruh, this a casual conversation with the Petty Messiah begot.
It always begets jewels and all sorts of off-color remarks.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon has settled his suit with the SEC.
The Southeastern Conference?
No, the Securities Exchange Commission.
Oh, okay. Something everybody can see.
Yeah. Let me summarize an article from CPAPracticeAdvisor.com. Just so you know, we all over the place and we'll use non-biased sources. It doesn't get any more non-biased than CPAPracticeAdvisor.com.
Hey, man, that is the most partisan, straight up and down, washed and ribbed for her pleasure.
It is sponsored by Bill Alfonso. Right down the middle, Daddy.
Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about. So you can't even argue these facts.
This is a highbrow one-paragraph summary.
Okay.
This is a document about WWE founder Vince McMahon. Of course, that's unnecessary. We know what that is. The settlement in which Vincent Kennedy McMahon paid a $400,000 civil penalty and reimbursed WWE for approximately $1.33 million. He did not admit to nor deny the SEC's findings. He also made an undisclosed payment to a former WWE employee and former independent contractor. Another NDA could be a previous NDA, what that is. So you know me, in my infinite wisdom, in the quest for ever seeing greatness and also unbiased commentary and, you know, media worthy commentary and news.
Talk your talk.
The first place I go to is one of the more reputable sources in pro wrestling media, and I throw that in quotation marks.
Because there's no such thing as pro wrestling media. There's just,
The-
facsimiles thereof.
The irony of that statement and the environment that we're talking of. Pro wrestling. I digress.
This is true.
The person I'm talking about as far as being on my upper echelon of reputability is Mike Johnson of PW Insider.
Cut us a check.
He really should. But if there's nothing else, come on the show. Like, we'd love to talk to you, man. You got a lot of good insight. He posted an article today, actually lately this afternoon. So I'm sure he had to make sure he got all his ducks in a row.
I can respect that though. Waiting to get it right versus trying to get it first, I respect that.
Honestly, Suave, I don't think it was so much waiting to get it right other than waiting to hear from the right person.
Same. We're saying the exact same thing. There are certain things, even if I'm 99% sure, if I ask someone who gives me that other point, I'm gonna wait.
All right, I can side with that. I can definitely side with that. In relationship to this whole lawsuit, the first thing that comes up to my mind is one Janelle Grant. You know who Janelle Grant is. If you're a pistol pusher, if you don't know, put on your seatbelt, ride with us. Don't say nothing until we get to the destination.
Use your Googles.
Mike Johnson states, attorneys for Janelle Grant filed another motion requesting for a status conference in regard to the Grant lawsuit against Vince McMahon, WWE, and John Laurinaitis before the United States District of Connecticut today. In the filing, Grant's attorneys noted that they were writing, quote, to inform the court of the new status quo and request its guidance on how to best move this litigation forward, end quote, after the SEC announced the charges brought against McMahon, which he settled for paying a $400,000 fine and reimbursing him for $1.3 million to WWE. The motion noted that in December 2024, the United States government advised Grant's attorneys that they, quote, it did not plan to seek an extension of the stay and could continue its investigation of defendants without the stay, unquote. I'm not an attorney, but that doesn't bode well for Mr. McMahon, seeing that he settled this 3 weeks after this was made. And this was part of the filing that was made today. No, that was in December. So yeah, 3 weeks after this was filed is when, before the SEC ruling over the weekend is when this was filed by the side of Janelle Grant.
So let me see if I heard this right, so that I can decode this for the pencil pushers who may not be legally inclined.
Which I'm not. I'm just reading. Go ahead.
So from what I understand here, Janelle Grant's attorney and representatives filed a motion to find out, hey, this is kind of taking longer than we wanted to. How can we proceed so that we can get what we trying to get up out of Buddy and go ahead and get him in court?
So far, so good. Keep going.
But then McMahon's side says, hold up. I got to go over here and talk to these people. And when I go talk to Buddy and them, I find out, oh, y'all just want that little 400 bands as a oops slap on the wrist? Here, you can have that. Oh, and I just got to give 1.3 back to the people I borrowed it from, namely myself. I'll get them their bread back. So I'm out 1.7, and now all those charges from the SEC that would have sent me up the river for the rest of my natural life don't exist anymore.
Just to be clear and to add to what you're asking of me and what you're trying to get across to the pencil pusher massive. In the lawsuit from Janelle Grant, WWE and former executive John Laurinaitis alleged that McMahon lured her with promises of career advancement, and then he allegedly exploited her and trafficked her to other men inside the company. That's a quote. Grant signed a non-disclosure agreement in 2022 with McMahon, agreeing to a payment of $3 million, not to publicly disparage him or to discuss their relationship. She alleges in the suit that he stopped making payments after $1 million, 1/3 of the agreement was received. Her lawsuit is seeking to void the NDA and additional financial damages. So to answer your question, yes.
Okay, so now the threat of going to jail forever doesn't exist. And
that part. And forever is not a very long time for Mr.
For
McMahon.
him, then, now, and forever for him is not a very long time. I want everybody to know. But Vince going to jail for the rest of his natural life is now off the table. This is simply a civil suit. There are no criminal charges pending whatsoever from Janelle Grant or anyone else. So now we are strictly dealing with what you feel and what you think versus how long it takes the money to run out.
Man, you know what we say about your feelings.
So at this point, and I hate for this to sound funny, but this is so indicative of the gangster mentality that is going on, running rampant in 2025, that at this point now, from terms of a civil suit, he can literally stretch this out for the rest of his life. Janelle Grant may never see a dime of what she could potentially win while breathing and above dirt. He has enough money at his disposal, because remember, he cashed out on a lot of stock when he exited WWE before the TKO merger. Well, matter of fact, it was after the TKO merger, he flashed out on a bunch of stock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Might have done it twice. Might have done it before and after. But he's about 800 milli liquid.
Yeah, and he liquidated all of his stock.
So he is super liquid on cash flow right now. He has the money in theory to stretch this out to a point where he would die before he himself writes a check to pay Janelle Grant for any compensation, damages, or any awards that a court may put into motion. Are you serious right now?
So, a couple of things come out of this. There was a play back in, I want to say October, where Vince was supposedly trying to create a new entertainment company. And the entertainment company was designed to focus on film and TV projects in the realm of fiction.
Factual.
There was also, and I don't know the source of this one, I'm just throwing this out there. Oh, and mind you, it was being described as a, quote, entertainment hub company. Right. Fiction and nonfiction are both on the table. But considering the last name, Suave, who does that sound like more than anybody else?
Sounds like you're preparing for another federation of some sort.
Before, okay, I like that in you. But an entertainment, you're a child.
I'll be a child for that. Pause.
For the entertainment hub portion.
Oh, okay.
Which McMahon does that sound most like?
Shane. That is Shane all day long.
We talked about it.
All day, every day. That is Shane's playbook.
We talked about it ad nauseum. We talked about that in pure and in great detail.
Shane spent a many a day in Japan, many days abroad. That is his wheelhouse.
How about there was rumblings, and like I said, I don't know who said this, and I shudder to think that this came from the place that we don't like to quote, and I don't see that it has. Oh, no, that's a what if. Okay, that's a what if. But Coachman a month before this announcement came out about the quote unquote entertainment hub or supposed entertainment hub that may be proposed or in the pipeline, Coachman suggested strongly that what if the old man gave the prodigal son about 4 billies to procure his own another promotion. Is that something that we need? Is that something that is a want of Shane and or Vince? Is that something that would even be viable to the general public, to general wrestling fan, not the casual fan, but the general wrestling fan?
Is it something we need? I'll say yes from the standpoint of, one, it gives us more content. And not content to watch, content to discuss. Two, not only does it give us more content, it creates more jobs for the wrestling community as
that part. I'm always here for employment.
So more employment. Now, what happens once you're employed, that's a different conversation, but at least you can get a job. Also, now what was the other part of your question? Do we need it? Do we want it? And what else?
Would it be viable? Is it something that would be attractive for the general fan?
For the general wrestling fan, yes. Number one, because we are all. If there's one thing that we all have in common as wrestling fans, is the fact that we can't turn away from a train wreck. we have it. That's the thing we all have in common. We cannot turn away from a train wreck. So whether this goes well or whether it goes horribly, we're gonna watch because we're gonna want to be able to commentate on it while it happens.
How fast is it gonna fly off the rails, and who's at the bottom of the hill?
Or how good is it going to be, and how quickly, does it turn from sugar to shit or opposite? Then the other thing is,
because it has to be one or the other. It can't start off with sugar and stay sugar. It can't start off as poop and stay poop. It has to be one or the other.
Bing bong. Now, what makes that even more interesting is Vince McMahon still has a name when it comes to dealing with the people who dole out television time and spaces. Network executives all look like him. They're all in the same age demographic. Some of them are a little younger. Most of them kind of hovering in that same. They've been dealing with Vince for the last 40 years.
So I hear you're dropping a beat.
To some degree. To some degree. They know him. If they travel to the New York tri-state area, they at least know his wife.
Exactly. And now, because there are no criminal charges associated with his name, for them, he is greenlit to do business with. Because now, it's a conversation of morality. They don't give a damn about that. Never have. Will you mess up my money by going to jail? Will you mess up my money by bringing criminal heat on top of some stuff I'm doing by whatever it is you got going on? Now that has been eliminated, I guarantee you his phone is ringing again. There are conversations happening again. People want to know, what are you doing again? Look, whoever doesn't like it, refer to the title of this episode.
And it doesn't hurt that in roughly a week from the time that the pencil pushers hear this, a WWE Hall of Famer will have the highest office in the world. Again. Who happens to be friends with one Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Look, we had this conversation amongst ourselves that we kind of figured once everything had taken place with the transition of power in this, that Vince was going to be in the clear anyway. Now he just did it, and it might be tax refundable.
That's a whole other level.
That's a whole nother level. I didn't even want to get into that because that's going to trigger some people into like jumping out a window. If he's able to spin this the right way, and we know he has the people around him to do so, that 400 bands to the SEC might be written off as a business expense.
That
Not to mention-
that
not to mention-
1.33 is that 1.33 going back to WWE is going to
a company you own stock in.
that's going to paper the and I think he liquidated all his stock. That remains to be seen. Maybe he brought some more, but
he got some. It's just minority.
He can take that 1.33 and go paper the crowd that's going head up against AEW for All In.
There's that.
Yes, that's right.
Buy another jet.
You heard me.
1.3.
You heard me right. WWE is going head up against All In with a Saturday night's main event. Saturday, July 12th.
That's a hell of a transition. We done with Vince?
We done with Vince. Vince gonna come back. Not today. Vince gonna come back, but just not today.
Cool. Yeah. So, Trips is out here, set tripping. It's pretty much what he does at this point. If you really gonna be gangster about it, if you really want to run a show against All In,
park the car, Suave.
if you really want to be outside, if you really want to show me that you bout that life, put the show in DFW. Go to American Airlines Center, go to the Dickies Arena, go to Will Rogers Coliseum in Fort Worth, give me another one.
Hell, if you really want to be a jerk, you could go out to Garland to Curtis Colwell.
I always felt like that would be too small for them.
It's too small for WWE, but you can't tell me they wouldn't pack that bitch at.
Oh, absolutely. That's the only reason I didn't say UTA's arena out here.
But that's double the size of Curtis Colwell. So it's not a bad idea. Plus, it's a Saturday.
You'd be right up the street.
And it looks great on TV. That venue looks amazing. The lighting is, because it's so compact, the lighting makes that place. Can you imagine WWE lighting in that place?
That's a very slept on venue. It's new, it's clean, it's a very slept on venue.
WNBA team pitched their tent in there for 3 years. Actually, now by the time because they leaving this year. So what, for 5 years they pitched that tent in there?
Is this year the last year?
Yep, coming up.
Oh, got it. Yeah. So, hey, listen. Don't tell me you gangster. Get out in the street and open fire.
I can't help but get the vibes of WrestleMania 4 versus Clash of Champions.
But if you ain't gonna get outside, that's closed caption television and cable TV and all that other stuff. Look,
we in a different environment now. Like you got way more tools to play with to be dangerous if you really want to get outside and raise a ruckus. I don't think you built like that.
If you ain't trying to step out in that concrete, slang no iron, I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me you a bully. Show me
you a bully.
Make it understood. You gonna have to show me I'm an OG. You want to overthrow me? Stand up.
Let's see. Give me a number in terms of capacity for a venue.
To do what?
Saturday night's main event. 10,000.
Somewhere between 10 and 18.
All right.
Matter of fact, Saturday night's main event. I cap it at 15 is a good cap. 10 to 15 max.
And that's going to be in July.
Yes.
Bruh, you really, dog. I have two of the ultimate options, both of them in the exact same area.
Shoot.
It's right before training camp. The Star would be perfect. I'm sure it'd be 100 in hell outside, but hell, the Star would be a perfect place for that. That's number one.
The Star has an indoor facility.
There you go.
So, that would...
Over 20,000.
Is it that many? Well,
yeah, it's a football stadium. It's a high school football stadium.
Yeah, they have state championship games in there. So, yeah, I mean, you could do it in Frisco at the Star.
I got a better place than that, though, if they do it right. The only problem is it's outside of WWE's wheelhouse and more along AEW's wheelhouse, but it could be done because of a recently announced partnership.
I'm listening.
Cosm.
Oh, you can't do it in Cosm.
But they don't have any place where like you could actually like set. Damn.
No.
Ooh.
No. The whole thing with Cosm, it is about the screen and presentation. So it's like IMAX on HGH, steroids, pills, and syrups, painkillers,
cigarette, weed, Hennessy, vodka,
everything.
Everything.
It's triple leveled like an amphitheater. So there's the bottom level.
Almost like Top Golf, but amphitheater with screens.
Kind of, sort of, as far as how it's leveled. But yeah, for discussion's sake, yes, we'll say that it's similar to like Top Golf, where everybody can look out and see the same thing be on a couple different levels. So it's three different levels, and each level is more bougie than the next. Yeah. I've been there once. I'll be back there this month. And now, because of a new partnership announced between Cosm and WWE, might be there a little bit more often, because us and who's the other place that has one? LA?
Yes, LA.
Yeah, LA has one. Dallas has one. I think someone else is about to get one. Very limited. But what I will say is the experience to go see an event at Cosm is lit. Now, my first experience was with a...
Uh-oh. Where'd you go?
Shout out to KD, the produce man. Pulled up on him for a birthday celebration, start a game. I'll be going back for an NBA game to see what that's like. And now I'm considering which event I'm going to try for the WWE experience. I don't know if I want to make that my WrestleMania situation, because
I thought you were going to Vegas, bro. You know I can't make it to Vegas.
I thought I was going to Vegas too, until I was going to have to come out of retirement. I was gonna have to get real active.
The activity.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, ghost face for real. And because I have absolutely no desire to have to fundraise in any sort of felonious or unsavory manner, Vegas may just have to chill. Cause yeah.
Let me break it down for you. So there's a theme to these places. I know you'll catch it, but you can stop me whenever you feel like it. Los Angeles' location is in Inglewood. Dallas's location is in the Colony at Grandscape, maybe 15 minutes from Frisco. Future planned locations: downtown Atlanta, Detroit, Tampa, Miami, Nashville, Phoenix, Denver, Charlotte, Chicago. What do those cities all have in common?
With the exception of us, aren't they all like cannabis friendly?
Absolutely not, sir.
Look, LA is, Phoenix is,
Charlotte is not. Nashville is not.
So they behind the times. It's Bible Belt. What is the common denominator of all those cities besides major sports teams?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, look, you asked me like there was like some ridiculous...
No, I didn't say besides. I didn't put a caveat out there. I said, what's the common denominator?
Oh, well, that goes without saying. All of those places have major
football, basketball, baseball, with the exception of Nashville, but they have a AAA team. Charlotte doesn't have a basketball. We have a baseball team. Hockey, asterisk on Charlotte on that one, because their hockey team is actually in Raleigh.
Where Charlotte would probably make up for a lot of that is it's honest. So college basketball would make up for a lot of what they don't get from whatever pro sport they're lacking.
I mean, basketball and football is a great start. It's just that both teams suck.
I mean, like usually when you're in a demographic or in an area where the pro team sucks or the college team just has more legacy fans, they're more like, yeah, in the Carolinas, they're gonna be way more into college basketball than they are into professional.
That part, you've got just within a 180-mile drive in either direction, Atlanta and Raleigh-Durham.
Yeah.
Greenville, South Carolina's in between there. Clemson's in between there. You have a whole division worth of Division I schools if you put them all in one division, just on I-85 alone. And right in the center of it all is Charlotte, which is a beautiful city and the largest city in the state, or largest metro area in the state of North Carolina. That's your largest city, not the largest metro area, but the largest city in the state of North Carolina.
Can you imagine watching Duke versus North Carolina in a Cosm? See, you haven't been yet, but
I haven't.
My God. You've got. Hey, look.
Don't worry, it's on the list. I'm going. They pop up in Charlotte. We gonna be there. It's gonna be events that's gonna be held.
I'm just saying, you come to the crib anytime soon, let me know in advance, and I will personally get those.
I'm gonna have to get me a Janet Jackson control headset with a dead cat on the end of it, so that way we can broadcast and not have to hear the noise in the background. I'll sound like Jim Cantori from Weather Channel.
Say, man, you trying to get us put out this establishment is what you're trying to do, but I'm with it. I'm for it.
Yeah, let's go. Back while we on the topic of WWE. The debut on Netflix. We had, first and foremost,
those applause are for us, not anybody else.
Well, while we still have it going, this is your daily acknowledgement. Paul Heyman started this about 7 years ago when he said, "You don't go on last, then you go on first." Yes, and said 35. Brock Lesnar out to go get handled by Kung Fu Panda, and which was cool because by the time the show was over, Brock was already back home. He used that exact same credo without saying it. Like, tell me what you're doing without telling me what you're doing. As we kicked off the Netflix era on Raw with the very first match, Tribal Combat. Solo Sikoa versus Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns walks away with the Ulafala, or as my wife would call it, the Lola Falana.
Everybody chill. I want everybody to be as respectful as they can, as in these trying times. Yeah, did not expect it to go this way. I actually expected this to kind of drag out a little more, almost to WrestleMania 41. Obviously, there are some different plans in place.
There were a lot of seeds that were planted that did not sprout in this match.
And the internet is upset. Well, a segment of the internet is upset. The same segment of the internet that was upset that The Rock had come back in the first place. The same group of people who started the whole finish your story and made the hashtag go out of control, and to which Rock had to dub and name that group of people Cody Crybabies. That same basis of wrestling internet fan angry about the fact that The Rock showed back up on night one of Raw on Netflix. Cut a very not in character promo.
Different. It was an executive level promo that we were not expecting.
He showed up as
Dwayne
Maivia. He showed up as Johnson or Rocky Maivia. He showed up as the guy who's getting paid, the guy who owns more stock than the entire talent
the
roster.
Chairman of the board.
Yeah, he showed up as that guy and was like, thank you guys, I love it. Da 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 da. Give out some props, give out some flowers. He was nice to Cody Rhodes, which sent them up a wall. It's either you don't want him on TV and you don't want him wrestling, or like, what do you want from the man?
We got to put a pin in that right there. What do you want from that man after being nice to Cody Rhodes on live television? We'll put a pin in that.
So, to which the internet has completely melted down as they normally do about stuff with involving people that look a certain way. After trying to critique his whole 2 days on WWE programming, this is Raw and NXT. not liking what they got from him, wanting to know why he wasn't continuing the story from the last time that he was seen, The Rock says essentially what he told him last year. Shut up and pay attention to the ride you're going on. The road to WrestleMania is 3 months last time I checked, right? And at this point, it's technically 4, because Road to WrestleMania, essentially for us and for this year, started
right after Survivor Series.
I would have given them credit if they had said Raw on Netflix episode 1. Dead ass. I would have given you credit for that. But Survivor Series is like the crate digger's answer.
I mean, because there's nothing that happened in between Survivor Series and which would normally between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. Raw on Netflix just happened to be sprinkled perfectly in between the two. But because of the storyline of the tribal chief, that's why I said right after Survivor Series. But yes,
I get what you're saying, and I actually do agree with that. For the basis of my conversation right now, I'm gonna just say episode 1 of Netflix on Raw.
Got it.
Or Raw on Netflix.
Good.
So essentially, from January to the end of April is your road to WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is on 420 weekend. Another reason that Vegas was
in Vegas.
Another reason that Vegas was on the itinerary, but once you started to see what them seats looked like, it was like
the seats look like what the marijuana do.
And I'm bougie about where I sit.
Them seats come with a bag.
So right, yeah, I want them seats that let you take the chair home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very bougie about where I sit at certain events. So sitting in the nosebleeds of Vegas does not trump.
And taking a chair on a plane from Vegas doesn't also bode well.
That I didn't even think about that. Damn.
It's going to happen. You know, a few people are buying tickets for it, but it just doesn't bode well.
Nah, I wonder if is that carry-on? Check that.
It's too tall for the carry-on. It's wide enough. It's just too tall.
So I would have to check the chair.
Probably in a flat box.
I don't like that. And then I also don't like trying to UPS it back home. But
there's the idea, but that cost on that one. It'd be about $30.
That's worth it if I knew it was gonna get there. That's the thing.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
It's gonna get there because
you
always got unscrupulous individuals working in places. So if I go in there,
if you take the chair in there,
exactly,
you're getting an insurance check tomorrow. You're getting a chair tomorrow. Exactly. But if you go get a box that fits the chair, small possibility that actually makes it there still.
And I'm the type of guy that's going to make the argument, if I don't have the chair, that means you owe me for the entire ticket.
Because it is part of the experience.
Since you're going to give me the insurance check, you're not giving me a check for a chair. You're giving me a check for, what I spent for the seat.
The chair has no value. The ticket has value that begot the free chair. Exactly. Without the chair, without the ticket, there is no chair.
In that case, I'd send the chair to Abu Dhabi.
Catch you at the Rumble 26.
You see what I'm saying? Really hard. I'm finna sit in a WrestleMania chair at next year's
Royal Rumble.
But okay, so now you get the inner workings of why we say we're so pragmatic. Now, it's 4 months. There's a lot of story to be told. There are a lot of episodes of Raw on Netflix. There are a lot of 3-hour episodes of SmackDown. There are a lot of press conferences and PLEs and Saturday night's main events and pre-shows and post-shows between now and WrestleMania. So, considering how last year played out, wouldn't you think that the general audience or the populace would give more leeway when it comes to executing the story, you story the way you wanted it to end last year. What is it about this year that makes you're not gonna get your way this year, and you've seen nothing to say that you won't get your way?
But what is the way? Because
they don't know.
Because
that's my whole point. They don't know what they want.
All signs are pointing towards what they should have done to begin with, which I think is a disaster if you do it now. Running it back on Roman to get rid of Good Try Terry's record.
And I said you'll never see that. You'll never see that again. We missed our opportunity. He will, if Roman is champion again, cool. He will not go on another 4-year run. He's not going to stick around long enough for that.
That part, but can we get a run that's long enough to where his combined days exceed that of Good Try Terry? The answer to that question is yes. Obviously, that can happen. But is it a good idea to try to extend that to go back to beat your original record? Absolutely not. We can't have a new age Bruno Sammartino. We can't have a new age Bob Backlund. We already have a new age, and I really hate to say the modern day Good Try Terry, but let's keep it a buck. The dollars that he was bringing in don't nearly come close to what we got from Roman Reigns. If you don't believe me,
ask for inflation, then try to. There's some people who like to do that too,
and they can, cool, whatever. But think about it like this: pandemic aside, dollar for dollar, nobody has done what Roman Reigns has done because the capacities of the venues weren't there.
Well, there's that.
And if you don't think that people who were booing Roman Reigns 10 years ago aren't going up to the stadiums and the arenas now and throwing that one finger up and not that gun finger, but throwing the one finger up, they doing that for that man. I guess we weren't even talking about doing this right now, but I guess now is a perfect time to talk about how this man just moonwalked the entire company through a pandemic as a survivor, as a cancer survivor, multiple times.
Beat cancer two straight, 2 out of 3 falls. And we really gonna sit here and act like this man is not a linchpin in what modern professional wrestling is. That man walked you from Thunderdome with screens of faces of people all the way up to Netflix on Raw episode 1. Carried your janky ass through the desert when you stand on your own 2 gave you water when your worthless ass was parched and had nothing to drink from. And now you fool, loyal, bitch made, untrustworthy, just despicable human being.
Answer me this, Swab. Answer me this.
Okay.
This isn't relevant to the stretch in which you're talking about, but it's relevant to the conversation.
Alright.
Name me one person that could get booed nonstop for 10 minutes without saying one word for something he did not even decide it was going to be done.
Vicky Guerrero.
For 10 minutes? Non-stop 10 minutes.
She got close. I think she could get there. If you're asking me a hypothetical about who could, that's probably, that's one of your better answers.
Okay. Do you think that's my next question? Can Dom do it?
Dom is as close as probably we can get now. Dom can get it. Pause. Yeah, absolutely pause. He can get 10 minutes of being booed. Anybody else? Anybody else, you really gonna have to manufacture something other than. There is one person I do know who can get booed.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about him in a second.
I do know somebody who can get booed for 10 minutes straight without even trying today.
Well, we'll come back to that. The answer to this. Well, let me ask the question a different way. Who did that? Who got booed for 10 minutes straight without picking up a microphone or without saying a word? He picked up a microphone, but he didn't say a word. Got booed for 10 minutes straight for something that he did not even decide that he was going to do.
Roman Cleophas Reigns.
Check Raw after Mania after WrestleMania 33. That's all I gotta say. If you haven't seen it, go find it. Watch the first opening segment 1 for your TV personnel.
It will tell you what that tells you about the wrestling audience as a whole and what we say about the type of things and the type of people that they hate. Roman's not even who broke the streak, and they booed him for 10 minutes. That man later. They didn't boo Lesnar like that the night after.
They didn't even boo him the night of. They said nothing when that happened.
Come on, somebody. So the next time someone wants to tell you what it's not about, don't even waste time. That's what we're here for. We're here to show you the examples. So when they start asking for facts and state your source and do your homework and do your Googles, that's what
it's us. We're the source.
That's what we're here to show you. So prime example. That's crazy. They didn't even boo that man. They didn't boo that man the night of or the night after.
No.
But another guy who looks different came along and did the same thing 2 years later to a much older guy who actually did need to lay it down. And they booed that man for 10 minutes straight.
And then what did he do? He told the truth in one sentence, dropped the mic, got out the ring, and no one believed him then. Except us.
Oh.
Look at you now.
Was he like an 8-star general now? Because he main evented 31, 32, 33, 34. He missed 35.
Missed 35.
He beat Cancer 2 out of 3 falls. So that's fall 2. 36, no one. 36 wasn't there. 37. 37 is the return from COVID. So that's him. That's him stacking and wrecking. 38.
Stacking and racking was boy, that was a good one. I need to go back and revisit that one again. Just that one match.
Exactly. I because that was like the first PLE on Peacock, so we were dealing with all the other stuff and not even really paying as much attention to the matches.
And he killed it too. he called his shot. He pointed at the side.
Nah, for real. We may end up going back to. We should actually. I would love for us to watch that on live from Cheap Sheets, but that would get pulled.
We could actually cover the commentary without showing the video. So those at home,
what in that?
It's actually a thing.
I do know, and I'm still asking because I know it's a thing. Where is the fun in that? I used to participate in those. It's not as fun.
Yeah.
Not at all. But he's an 8-star general, soon to be 9. 9 WrestleMania main events, and you have the audacity to open insert all the other superlatives I used about 6 minutes ago. You have the nerve.
The unmitigated gall. The unadulterated lack of humor.
The audacity. The oxygen and the audacity.
The moxie. The gumption.
Yeah, there you go. The intestinal fortitude. The spunk.
Marbles.
Huevos.
Marbles.
So they don't have marbles. So yeah, just for you people to continue to do this, and I do mean you people, because I'm disgusted by this. We shouldn't have to continue to tell you how great this individual's contributions to the business are, but because you continue to bastardize what he's done and trivialize it by undermining it, we will be the ones to continue to shine that light that says, look here, you blind, illiterate, unwashed spazoid.
You illiterate some B.
PAFN.
WYBA.
That Roman is not only for the children, he's for the grandchildren of those children. Then, now, and forever.
The man put his baby cousin on for 2 years.
That man done put on 24 people. Put on or resurrected the careers of at least 24 people.
He got his cousin brothers 7-figure bags each.
Say, man.
And Solo, if he ain't making 7, he about to be after this WrestleMania.
He's finna be. He the next one. He is the next one, and Jacob won't be far behind.
Jacob. We've been, since we first saw Jacob in Dallas, we've been begging to get Jacob in WWE, and we thought it was never going to happen. And then I realized we had a Jacob in Booker T. So if Booker T is good enough for the E, why can't Jacob be good enough for the E? Sure enough, who's good enough for the E? Jacob Fatu.
And it's been paying dividends ever since.
For numerous reasons, because the one thing that people were afraid of is the one thing that he shied away from, and that is extracurricular activity away from business. Come on, man. If the Samoans don't know how to do nothing else, they know how to make money and save face for the name of their family. Nope. I'll be here all night. Don't.
Show me somebody who don't know how to do business. I'll show you somebody I'll never sit by.
I'm gonna tell you somebody that don't know how to do business and made a career off of doing business, not knowing how to do business. And LA showed him in kind. We ready to talk about this now?
Look, why not?
On the flip side of the coin, we mentioned them earlier. We'll mention them right now. Good Try Terry comes out with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Real American plays, the crowd goes wild. Good Try Terry comes out, the crowd goes mild.
It's like you pop for the song and then realize what the song brings out and just completely, melts down, melts away.
I didn't think I could ever see where a 40,000 seat stadium would sound not as loud as a 17,000 seat arena in the terms of choruses of boos. The boos that Hogan got only rivaled when he turned on the Macho Man and Sting to join the NWO. Only rivaled WrestleMania 37 when he came out with Titus O'Neil. Only rivaled WrestleMania 30 when he called the Superdome the Silver Dome.
See, now one thing to interject there. I've been seeing a lot of people on the internet proclaiming the death of Hulkamania, saying he was born in 1983, which was really 84, and died in 2025. I contend.
Come on.
I'm just willing to put this in the air. Hulkamania died at WrestleMania 30 when he called the Superdome the Silver Dome.
I totally side with you on that. There are other instances where we could have argued that, but once and for all, people are like, I'm really sick of your shit. It was WrestleMania 30.
The mystique died. It's like, okay, this is supposed to be the guy who's business first. There is no point where he's not going to put himself in the best possible position to do the best business for himself. Then went out in front of the biggest audience of a WrestleMania ever because it was the launch WrestleMania of the WWE Network. You go out and you decide to lay that egg, then you are no longer useful. If I can't trust you to get your lines right, like you don't have to remember the finish. You ain't got to leg drop nobody. There's no punches thrown. There's no body slams. You just have to.
All you have to remember is where you are.
If you can't remember where you are, they take people's licenses away for that. Graham will not be able to drive the Cutlass no more if she can't remember where she at.
Only one person was able to survive not knowing where he was at and turned it into fodder. And even now it's debatable that he didn't know where he was at. And that's Ron the Truth Killings. R-Truth for those of you keeping score at home.
Yes, because R-Truth and Ron Killings are two different people.
This is specifically R-Truth in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but I can very much say time of death on Hulkamania 2014. Easy.
WrestleMania 30 all day long.
Easy. Because we had already been sick of your shit before then. And then you get into that prime time of a situation and you drop the ball. You are in the ring with 2/3 of you plus 2/3 of WWE's Mount Rushmore.
and you lay an egg, a rotten egg.
That was it. So anything that came after that was just more dirt on top of a casket we had already put in the ground. Not to mention you realize that we're talking about an individual that has some type of hoe ass behavior in every decade since the 70s.
Let's see here. I forgot who trained him, but there were stories of him getting a broken arm or broken leg.
That Matsuda.
Hiro Matsuda. This is the guy that made Johnny Weaver, quote unquote, spit up his spleen on WCW Pro.
Yikes. Yikes, bro.
Or it actually was NWA Pro. But it was Jim Crockett Promotions. At any rate, in the 80s, he held up the AWA, held them up for the World Championship. And in this angle was then champion and Vern Gagne Golden Boy, Nick Bockwinkel, managed by none other than Bobby the Brain Heenan. Why does this even matter? Because for the entire time that Bobby the Brain Heenan was on television, he had one true nemesis. Hulk Hogan. We're coming back to the 80s, but when Hulk Hogan turned on Randy Savage and Sting and dropped that leg, what did Heenan say? I never trusted him. Like,
whether that sentiment was true or certain, it gave us some things to look at. So you were speaking about the 80s. What about when Senior tried Terry?
Hold on, just lost you one more time. What about when what now?
Senior Good went to Kennedy McMahon to inform him about the forming wrestlers union to WrestleMania 1. Meaning the wrestlers have demanded certain privileges and or rewards to not be identified as independent anymore, but actually have a union prior to the first, which would have actually put Vince into a corner. So, good thing to be, favored nation decided to relay that message and gave Vince McMahon an opportunity to offense, offering certain monies to certain people in the union. Essentially, Jesse Ventura explains why, for 40 years he was like, I ain't with it. And now has just come back now that Vince.
But it goes along the lines of that. It doesn't work for me, brother, if you will, which is arguably where that started, but that's not where it started. But continue.
Correct. And then your homeboy Dr. David Shaw, because David Shaw, y'all together right when you both got into WWF and have a program together and stuff. Dr. David Schultz in sideways on Geraldo Rivera, and the next thing, wait, was that Geraldo?
No, 2020. Or 2020 is what it was. It was John Stossel.
John Stossel. He slapped crooked on John Stossel. And then, of course, what Hogan does, what he always does, he abandoned. And Dr. David Schultz went on to be Schultz. And again, I always trust you to be able to do what's best for you. And if I can trust you to do that, I'll conduct around you. But we move to the 90s. More hoe behavior.
Wait, no. Back up. There was one person that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and I wouldn't even thought about this if you didn't put his name up on your screen for your lower third a couple of weeks ago, but Bad News Allen, better known as Bad News Brown, comes to WWE on the promise that he's going to be set up for a long program with Good Try Terry. Out of nowhere, that is removed. And I believe the only match those two had that was televised, ended in a disqualification that caused Good Try Terry to win. I may be wrong in that, but I recall a match, the only match that I saw from between them ended in a DQ, and we never saw a run back.
Was it like a Saturday night's main event or something?
Yes, sir. I believe it was.
So yeah, there's that. And since we're talking about people who are in my lower third, Vader was managed by a guy at this Starrcade 93. It's in my lower third. Harley Race. Do you know that I believe Harley Race's last in-ring match was against Hogan?
No.
Wasn't that where he got hurt? He tried to break the table and end up doing severe damage to his abdomen. That's against Hogan.
Wow.
I won't give Hogan blame for that, but he was there.
He was there, yeah. And yes, the Bad News Brown match was in '89 from Hershey, Pennsylvania, February 16th to be exact, on Saturday Night's Main Event. Continue.
Boom. So that count for the 80s. In the 90s, here we go. You done testified against Vince McMahon in the steroid trial, knowing y'all sharing needles. But you testified against that man with as much money he done already put in your pockets. Then you lied on Mark Calloway about him hurting you at Survivor Series 91, citing that he was dangerous and hurt you in the ring, performing the tombstone, and that you had irreversible neck damage. Anyone who has ever seen Survivor Series 1991, whether it's on VHS, DVD, or some streaming platform, realizes that there's about a foot of space between Hogan's head and the mat. That man hit the mat like
Oh, where'd you go?
I don't even.
There you go.
I don't even have a. I don't even. I don't have suitable. I don't have a suitable. I don't. 'Cause I can't. Yeah, I was gonna say like like I hit crack, and I've never hit crack, so that's Hogan's head never hit the mat. But you lied on that man. Hoe behavior, which that man was marked to be champion and stayed champion for about 2 weeks because of you. Matter of fact, it wasn't 2 weeks. It was from Thanksgiving to the next Tuesday. Because you lied on that man. Lied. Then, of course, we stay in the 90s. You ratted on Vince McMahon. Then, the famous finish at Starrcade 97.
Back up. Let's go back to him saying I would never compete against you.
Oh, yeah. So, WrestleMania 8, Hogan's supposed retirement match versus Sid Justice. So, the idea behind this is that, it's been 10 years, it's a run. Hogan's going to go on to do other stuff, namely, Hollywood. So that's where you get Suburban Commando and Mr. Nanny and
Thunder in Paradise
and more.
We already had Ready to Rumble. Yeah, was it Ready to Rumble? No, not Ready to Rumble. What's the one that he had with Zeus?
No Holds Barred.
Yeah, that was WWF. That was WWF shit.
No Holds Barred is what got Zeus, aka Tiny Lister, rest in peace, involved in like the late 80s. So that's like 88, 89. But this other particular situation where apparently, he was ready to walk away, go do his Hollywood thing, said I would never compete with you. Now this is essentially April of 92. That man, he walked off, stayed gone, did some movies, came back for WrestleMania 9.
Muppets in Space, Ultimate Weapon, Three Ninjas at High Noon, or High Noon at Mega Mountain, some nonsense. Secret Agent Club, Assault.
Blockbuster's finest.
Yeah.
Yes, Blockbuster's weekend rental finest. So goes off, does movies, says he's not going to compete, comes back, WrestleMania 9, works his magic or lack thereof in the main event where, he steps on Bret Hart's title reign and steps on Yokozuna's title win, all while getting punched in the eye by Randy Savage about Elizabeth and having a co-main event at WrestleMania 9, wrestling for tag titles against Money Inc. That might be the worst co-main event in WrestleMania history. Matter of fact, that could be. No, it's only the second time. That was the second time at that point to where there had ever been a co-main event. Unless you're going to count the debacle that was WrestleMania 2 taking place in 3 different places at once.
In which case, there were technically 3 main events.
Right. That part. But Hogan made it to a point, I need to make this enough about me to where WrestleMania 8, I can't let Flair and Savage be the main event. They have to be a co-main event. To the point, I can't let Bret Hart and Yokozuna, the champion and the challenger, be the main event. They have to be a co-main event because me and my partner, trying to get an extra payday. That black eye that they say he got from getting jumped outside the gym the night before, it's nothing like that. And it's not what happened to Shawn Michaels either. Randy went and saw about him and dotted that I.
Which could very well be part of the reason why Randy Savage was quote unquote not marketable enough for the younger crowd.
Well, that and some other stuff that we've discussed on this show, but we'll not.
We will not discuss that.
So finishes doesn't even. What does he finish 93? No, he doesn't.
Does not.
Right after that, there's an international tour that he's the champion on,
and he gets replaced with the new Americana gimmick by Lex Luger.
Yes, this is after he leaves. So up to the first King of the Ring tournament, where Bret Hart wins the tournament, Hogan has a rematch. Hogan has a title defense against Yokozuna. They do the exploding camera angle. Hogan leaves. He does the favors, leaves. One of the very few times you see him like put somebody, of course it's not clean, but he put somebody over and didn't come back and get the...
He didn't get his lick back.
Right, because he had already got his lick first. Pause. He leaves. Says, I'm done this time for real. I'm going to go back to Hollywood. I'm never going to compete against you. Now, mind you, this is like June of 93. By June of 94, he is in WCW about the main event Bash at the Beach against Ric Flair. Man of his word. 100%. Then we all saw what happened with him in WCW, which led to the next point I had on his whole behavior world tour. That doesn't work for me, brother. 1997. A 1-year program with Sting. If you're watching this show, you absolutely know why it was a 1-year program with Sting. And when it's time to do the favors, you decide that, hey, he's not where I think he should be. So now this finish doesn't work for me. Let's change it. On the night of, you saw what happened, and the rest.
Favorite nations and creative control clauses were the death of organization. One specific organization. It's the same one we're talking about now. Continue.
Moving to the 2000s.
No. I mean, you continue where you were at. Go ahead.
Oh no, because nothing else about 97. You saw it. You saw it. That man ruined a 1-year build because I don't even know why. He just decided to put a monkey wrench into it. If it was that serious, you could have gone through with the favors and then a month later come back and beat the guy again, which is something you good for anyway. We have the Bash at the Beach debacle involving Vince Russo and Jeff Jarrett. So that will put you in the 2000s. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 decades of whole behavior. The 2010s, that's where the Gawker trial happens. That's enough by itself. Netflix did a whole documentary on it. Go watch it. The Gawker trials is what begets the whole revelation that this guy has a less than complimentary opinion of
the melanated people.
Of melanated people.
And this is also along the lines of him setting out his then wife and letting his friend record it, but then making it seem like he didn't know any of it was happening. That is the ultimate whole behavior. When you set it up to begin with.
Yeah. Then in that point, there's the whole TNA happens in that stretch. His son and his escapades in a Lamborghini. All of this is Googleable. None of this is anything we're making up. And then you get to see how he navigates his moral compass around these events.
The pushing of his daughter as an actual like a music star, and then making her a character and being involved with Bully.
Yeah, then there's there's the debacle that is the whole reality show Hogan Knows Best.
And that takes us into WrestleMania 30.
Yeah. Well, that's still in the 10s. And now you have what he's done in the 2020s, which would be
the Republican National Convention 2024.
Which your politics are your politics.
But what you do,
what you do as a result of those politics is what got you in where you are now. And now here's your situation with real American beer, where you've adopted some questionable business practices when it comes to your advertising and marketing conduct. You outsource a group of people to market on behalf of your brand, and for no other reason than the melanation of one of these individuals, they were sent home and no longer allowed to participate in the marketing campaign. No reasoning given to them, no misconduct leading to such. And, for a guy who's been a piece of shit for like 5 decades, like, can you really blame them for booing him?
It just, I think the boos now more so come from the fact that he keeps making us disbelieve his bullshit, right? Like,
the boos come from he's a booable individual. He's done enough boo-worthy stuff in his life, whether it be professionally, personally, or in public. Like, so everyone in every venue has something that they could boo him for. It just so happens that in the Staples Center, everybody was on one accord.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, but a belief in God and self, where he was a needle popper, it was a bit of a junkie of some sort, and he believed in self. He definitely believed in himself. In fact, he probably believed he was the higher power.
Now, training and believing in yourself, those two mastered both of those. And then, his vitamins of choice are what contributed to the training.
Train, say your prayers.
Now, he may have said his prayers, but we don't know what he was praying for or who
he was praying to.
None of my business. Religion, your choice. However, if any of these things that we have laid out becomes a reason for you to say that you want to boo that guy, that is your right. And if everyone just chooses to be on one accord from now on, every time you see that individual in public, what are we to do? Who are we to say the American people, or any people for that matter, don't have a right to voice their opinion? They pay for tickets. They've been given entry into the venue. If they decide to boo, that's very much their right. That's their business to boo. Who are you to tell them that man's unbooable? There is no one who is unbooable in professional wrestling. In Philadelphia, they booed Santa Claus. So don't tell me anything about who can't be booed.
Chicago, they buried disco. And now they call it house music.
It's tough. It's tough.
Let's get back while we were talking about booable offenses. Let's talk about The Rock. The Rock was backstage after his entry promo.
Drinking and driving, having boo,
shots and toasting with Cody.
Boo.
What did he do? What did he do to combat this? He showed up on Tuesday on NXT, held CW hostage in the last segment of the night.
Good.
And if it was on cable, he would have ran over and paid for the overage. He just couldn't do it because too many networks were involved. Too many mom and pop shops were involved in the whole CW debacle. There's that word again. And he didn't apologize for anything. In fact, he dropped more F-bombs on CW in one promo than they probably have in the entire existence of the CW, UPN, and the WB.
He is embodying of FU money at this point. Because let's keep it real. If CW decided that was an offense egregious enough for them to decide, you know what, we don't want to do this deal with you guys anymore. Number one, tough titty. you're gonna have to keep paying this money out. 2, if you actually want to spend money on some type of buyout clause situation, it ain't like I ain't got somewhere waiting for this show.
Hey, you know what CW did? It just to show the fact that what he did was actually acceptable and okay. You know what they did? They ran back the episode on Saturday night against Collision.
Because having The Rock on your show means ratings
Needle
regardless of what he says and how much he says it.
Needle moved. Now, back on the other side of the coin, Seth Rollins took on CM Punk at the end of Monday Night Raw. Did we have an idea what was going to happen? We could have deduced.
It was a coin flip. I would have been able to live with either outcome.
But what we got was a losing Seth Rollins to a very somber, sitting in the ring, sulking, just and
he's selling it.
That's cool that you selling it.
It's foreshadowing. I expect something to come of this.
This is going to look just like the whole Drew feud. Do you agree with that? It may not end in Hell in a Cell, but this is just like the whole Drew feud. Seth ain't losing 2 in a row to CM Punk. It ain't happening.
So I've said this, and now I believe it more than ever. If Kevin Owens is staying, which, to be perfectly honest, he's being booked way better, so this could be a really good way to keep him. You're going to see some type of uneasy alliance or union between Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. They all have common enemies. Now, I don't know what that means for everyone else that they would be aimed at, because it seems like they're going through some reshuffling as far as the storytelling is going. This is why we watch, to see how this will unfold. Some people on the internet have lost their ever-loving mind. They feel as though because CM Punk won, that the company is in shambles.
Seth can't get his lick back.
Now all of a sudden Seth Rollins is being held back and misused.
Not for nothing. If I'm booking this, I stay that course, because any logical thinker is going to look at this stuff that Seth is saying for his rationale as, what'd you call it with good try, Terry? Whole ass behavior?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I say it last week, yeah, bitch? Didn't I say it? Didn't I say it last episode?
I believe you did, and he's still acting like that. He's even in non-in-character interviews, it's like he still has this grudge as like a bitter ex, because
he's damaged goods.
They had a mentor-mentee relationship, and now, yeah, bitter ex.
Like, Suave, if this podcast ends and I can't talk to you, I won't talk to you, I can't talk to you, what do you do?
Wait till you can.
I know what you're not going to do. Go tell everybody how bad of a person I am because I can't talk to you.
Because I can't talk to you to verify it.
Now, if I won't talk to you, what are you going to do then?
Move on with my life.
Nothing. You're going to be the exact same person you are right now with one less person in it. And in your world, I might be a good person. In the world of people around me, still may be a good person. And I might be the whole ass dude. Instead, this dude gets to show the world why people like him are whole ass dudes. And you and I know a few of those. And what do we not do? Talk to or about them.
Bing bong. So I will give Seth credit on this. For as much as of the real life stuff as we may not care for, or that doesn't fall into our idea of, player conduct, I do give him credit for the fact that he is actually executing the storyline that was supposed to be taking place in AEW better than anyone in AEW could. He is out hangmanning Hangman at every turn,
and that
almost
bar,
using the same lines verbatim.
That is a high bar to out Hangman the Hangman at being a low bar.
So,
because Hangman's matches, he's giving us some gems. Hangman's behavior is taken away from the quality of his matches. That's the problem.
The quality of his matches, the quality of his pockets, the quality of the show that he's performing on. No. You want to be right, you want to be rich. There's that.
I don't even know what I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, like anything else is just gonna take us into another snowball moment with hoe behavior. And I think we've had a pretty fair explanation of what hoe behavior is and how to avoid it.
Three quick hits and we can get up out of here. Number one, Becky Lynch. Right. Rumor has it she was supposed to pop up on Raw on Netflix. She didn't show up. What happens?
They're in Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, she'll pop up.
She'll
pop out and show.
She'll pop out and show. All right.
Soon.
My favorite luchador, Penta El Cero Miedo, was supposed to show up on Monday Night Raw, the team with Rey Mysterio. That storyline completely got scrapped and is now scheduled to be the quote-unquote mystery guy on tonight's episode, which if you've already seen Monday Night Raw by the time you listen to this, which more than likely you have, he's supposed to be up there tonight against Chad Gable, or at least we think he is. Which is Penta showing up, and what's next for Penta?
What's next for Penta? I do not know. I really don't. I would assume you want Rey Mysterio involved for WrestleMania. He needs something to do, mask versus mask, or just they've been trying to get this situation off where there are a bunch of people wearing masks for I don't know how long. So if they're gonna do it, you better hurry up, because Rey, while he's still viable, he ain't finna just keep sticking around waiting for you to find somebody.
I still hate the fact that we saw him without a mask at 19. I really hate that. And then we got him back with a mask, which is even worse. Oh, and we never shouted out that Rey Mysterio Sr. So rest in peace, Rey Mysterio Sr. as well.
Factual.
2 returns. Kenny Omega.
Did you bring the receipt?
Uh-huh.
Did you bring the receipt for these returns?
No receipts needed. Kenny Omega back in professional wrestling, looking great and doing great things in the ring. We're glad to see you back, Kenny. Just stay off the microphone.
Look, regardless of how you view AEW or even Kenny's mic work, the fact that he's been able to come back from diverticulitis is an amazing accomplishment. We wish you the best, and best of health going forward. Hey,
all bullshit aside, shouts out to the doctors of Kenny Omega and to Brock Lesnar, because those are 2 cases of people who we did not deserve to see come back from diverticulitis, and we saw them both come back. Brock with a whole new career, Kenny embarking on a whole new career post diverticulitis. Both these careers post diverticulitis should be documented and categorized for greatness later on down the line. And then the other return, and we can get out of here. Corey Graves back to NXT.
Don't boo this. Don't boo this just yet. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because NXT is a show on what network?
CW.
Being on the CW and being a sports presentation, that show is catered towards who?
It's catered towards families more than anything.
What demographic overall?
12 to 18.
Boom. Corey Graves is the most Gen Z looking individual. And I'm not saying this I'm not being funny when I say this.
No, you're spot on.
He is the coolest looking person in the room.
He's not Vic Joseph. He's not Booker T.
Not Vic Joseph, not Booker T, not Wade Barrett, not even Pat McAfee for all of his grace and coolness that he's been able to get this FU money with.
Damn sure not Joe Tessitore.
Exactly, not Michael Cole. Corey Graves occupies some real estate that only he occupies. The tattoos, the way he looks, where he's from. His presentation is him and him only. which makes him more appealing to an audience that you are trying to grab hold to create your next generation of paying customers. 12 to 18, they're going to look at Corey Graves and be like, that's the coolest guy I've ever seen.
And they're going to pattern themselves right after him.
Then they're going to Google. Well, you know what happens when they Google him? They find out who his wife is. Then they see his wife and they're like, oh, he really is the coolest guy I've ever seen.
And that's amazing.
And not to mention, he's good job. Don't boo this. This is not a demotion. This is a long-term play.
I just got word of this one, and this is to no surprise.
Okay.
Brock Rechsteiner, son of Big Papa Pump Scott Rechsteiner, has been offered an NIL deal with WWE.
Of course, the season's over.
Not just season over. He doesn't need the season over to be offered an NIL deal. That's just money.
He doesn't need it, but it's like offering this NIL. Like, what's the point of going back to play football?
Yeah, can you imagine Brock and Bronson on the same, like on a team, like the New Millennium Steiner brothers? Like, are you kidding me,
bruh? It's gonna be a lot of targeting calls.
I was talking about the wrestling, not on the field, but damn.
I mean, same. I've seen both of them play football before. I've seen one wrestle, and the pedigree just kind of says that.
Yeah, you can't be out here doing full Steiner lines and spears like you just 23 miles an hour. You just can't be doing that. Show at BrokenPencilBC.com, BrokenPencilBC@gmail.com, at BrokenPencilBC on all things social, at BrokenPencilBC on what?
Everything.
Swap, take him to the house.
Pencil pushers. Like, rate, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, and then
tell that friend again.
Heads up.
Daily acknowledgement.
Pencils down.
That's not a daily acknowledgement. That's just the ending.
No. I won $2,500 betting on Vader to lose, baby. I knew what it was going to do.
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.